I'm sure we've all faced the mental block that comes from starting a new career mode journey. You know what you want to do, but you're not quite sure which club to pick, which nation, which league. In today's video, I'll be sharing some of my tips on how I decide my next saves and hopefully get you out of the block and get you enjoying career mode again. It's only 4 simple steps, so by the end of this video, hopefully you'll have a save that you're ready to start and you'll have fun on career mode. So let's get started with the first step, which is going to be deciding on what kind of save you're interested in doing. You can usually separate every single team into one of 4 categories. You've got the Championship Contenders. These are the teams that will be instantly fighting for the title or promotion in Season 1. And they're usually the best teams in the league, full of the best players, the best youth players, and probably going to have the best youth scouts as well. You also have the historic teams. These are the teams that might have been championship contenders 10, 20, 30 years ago. Usually the historic teams will have the most fans in the league, and if their stadium's in the game, it'll also usually be a nice big old-fashioned stadium. But if you pick a team that's a historic giant, then probably you're going to have to expect only average players in your squad. The third tier of team you can separate them into is the middle of the road teams. So these are the ones that are somewhere between 3 or 4 signings away from being title winners. They probably have a couple of good players, top players even, but they're usually not got enough of them to compete at the top level. Think of West Ham when they had Dimitri Payet. He was playing like one of the best players in the league, but the rest of the team wasn't quite there. And then finally, you've got the Road to Glory team. So this is a longer save where you have to rebuild almost the entire squad. So this is usually a newly promoted team, although it can be someone who's just fallen away the season before. So in Premier League terms, this could be someone like Norwich this season who you're going to have to fully rebuild, or Sheffield United last year who were almost as bad. So to complete step 1, just keep a note of which one you're interested in. Personally, I'm going to go for historic teams just for proving that this kind of thing does work and will find you an interesting team. But pick one in your head and let's go on to step 2. So step 2 is deciding where we'd like to play. This is usually where you'll decide the end goal of your save. If you're playing in Europe, you'll probably want to win the Champions League. If you're in North America, you don't have a Champions League, so it'll be the MLS Cup. South America, similarly, you've got the Libertadores and Sudamericana. And Asia does have an unlicensed continental competition from Season 2. But deciding on which continent you want to start is one of the most important things. I wouldn't go as far as picking a specific nation that you want to be in unless you've got one in mind really, really strongly, because it will kind of force you to do that nation, whereas choosing a continent gives you a massive selection of clubs. So for the example that I'm doing, I'm going to choose South America, but let's have a quick look at the differences between the 4 continents. Europe, you've got fully licensed cup competitions and lots of leagues. North America, you've only got 2 leagues, Mexico and USA, but there's also no continental cup for you to eventually move on to. South America, you haven't got many leagues to choose from. Only Argentina, I think, is fully licensed, and Brazil doesn't have real players, but you do have licensed Continental Cup. And finally, with Asia, you do actually have a surprising amount of leagues, and you do have the Continental Cup competition that you can enter in from Season 2. So like I said, we're going for South America for my example. So step 3 is what level you'd like to play at. So this will be the star rating of your team or the overall rating, because we're going to be using Geografifa to find them. So this will vary per nation, but if you've chosen Asia, for example, the ratings will be a lot lower than if you're playing in Europe and you want to play at top level. So let's say I'm interested in a team that's somewhere between 2.5 and 3 stars. If we combine this with having a historical club and also a team in South America, we put that into Geografifa, I found Estudiantes. They won 4 Libertadores in 1968, 69, 70, and then 2009, so I'd say they're definitely a historic team, although they're not that great anymore. They're not one of the big giants of South American football, but they are a decent team, 3 stars in South America, and I think I would have a fun save doing it. Let's do it again quickly. If you want a road to glory, and let's try Asia this time, a 1-star team, maybe go for Suwon FC. You can do this all via Geografifa. What you do is if you just search by continent instead of nationality, and then put a rating limit on there as well, and find a team that looks interesting. Go through the interesting teams until you find one that you're interested in, or one that matches with the kind of save that you're interested in doing. Granted, you might not know who the championship contenders of the Australian A-League are, but if you're interested in doing a league there and you've chosen championship contenders, just have a look at the full league. You'll see that Melbourne, and Sydney are the 3 biggest teams, with the rest of them being pretty close anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. But let's say you chose Asia and you want to do one in Australia, championship contenders, just pick one of those 3. The one that's got the most interesting players or badge or kit or history is super easy, and that's how I would pick my career mode save. Hopefully this helps you guys out. If it does, feel free to like and subscribe. All that really does help out the channel. Thank you to the person that suggested this video idea on my recent community post. Top suggestion. But thank you all for watching. I'll see you very soon for another video. Thanks and goodbye.